Peace and harmony here with you today. Want to look at some of the causes, the root of being attracted to the narcissist and the psychopath. Oftentimes it's been described that people who tend to stay with them are codependent in nature, basically meaning that people who are codependent it's not a personality disorder, but it's a person who tends to want to take care of other people, will put other people first, will sacrifice their own needs to the betterment of another. They will essentially forego their own needs in, I would say, with commitment to another. They have a really strong capacity to be altruistic, which means do things for the greater good and not, as in terms of, a benefit for themselves, which is really an admirable, it's a great quality. And it's, knowing that this is a good quality that sometimes, causes the codependent to get even deeper entrenched in getting involved, romantically or kind of enmeshed with someone who's a narcissist or a psychopath. And chances are, because you are altruistic or you put other people first, that the narcissist or the psychopath had targeted you. They're able to pick up on your aura. They're able to pick up on kind of like your brain waves, how you move your body. It's kind of an extrasensory perception that they're able to pick up. They're able to notice kind of who's the good heart in the room. They're able to suss out very accurately and effectively who the kind, good-hearted targets are. And if you've ever met another codependent, or maybe the other woman who was involved with the psychopath or narcissist, you can see why they were targeted, because this person is so sweet. That happened to me. I happened to meet the other woman who was also played and strung along by the psychopath, and this woman was absolutely adorable, so precious, very kind, 4 kids, just really just a sweet angelic person, very unassumptive, and I wouldn't say naive, but just really a very kind-hearted, soft person. And these people, the narcissist and psychopath, they look for people who they can mold. They look for people who they can sculpt. They look for people who they can basically work like putty and just, play them and mold them into this person who they want them to be. Seeing them on the days that they want to be seen. Talking to them in the ways that they want to be talked to. Maybe, putting them into exploitative sexual positions, in the car, in the office, very dangerous settings, Not exciting. It's not good. Living dangerously is not what it's cracked up to be. All well and told, it's a greater risk than reward. So, why does what is the cause of perhaps that codependency, and how can we look at that cause, understand it, observe it, and then heal it for good permanently? So it's not continuing to be kind of an open, gaping wound that will attract more psychopaths and narcissists to us romantically. If you can for a moment, look back into your childhood, look back into your infancy, look back into your childhood family, your childhood friends, and look at maybe some of the foundation that was laid within you. And look at your parents. Were they together? Were they alcoholics? Were they drug abusers? Were they narcissists themselves? Chances are, if we look at the parental structure, was there a passive-aggressive person in our family, in our circle of influence? Someone who was extremely critical, extremely judgmental, very harsh, physically abusive, emotionally abusive, verbally abusive. These all kind of set up the foundation for being codependent, meaning wanting to sacrifice your needs for that of another. And why does this take place? Because in the original foundation, if you are, parented by a narcissist or a psychopath or alcoholic, chances are you had to take care of them before your time. You had to do a lot of cleaning around the house. You had to be worried or concerned about them and their drinking or their eating or their finances. It was dysfunctional. Something was not right. You had to kind of be alert to this before your time. Even as a youngster, maybe you had to look at a older sibling and you had to address their needs, when it wasn't your place to, but you were forced to be in that place to having done it. So what happens is this ends up laying the foundation for that very setting to take place. And it creates basically a sort of a weakness or an opening in the personality for which we're going to then attract this into our lives. And this can be healed and it can be resolved once you begin to then look at the root and observe it from, I would say, a little bit of a distance. If you can look at this from a distance and look at it objectively, you can then begin to see how this was set up and no longer become associated with that in your life, no longer allowing that to become your identity or who you are. Because if that has become your identity, it can often be fostered in things like a job, if you're a nurse, if you're in social services, even retail, these careers where you're constantly having to take care of others, it perpetuates that codependent stripe in us. So I would say, if you look at that and maybe are able to determine, that this is where the original groundwork was set up, and how maybe this is not in your best interest. Taking care of others to the detriment of yourself and your own needs, to the deprivation of yourself and your own happiness, and feeling free and feeling whole. If you were not permitted as a child to feel that, was absolutely positively time as an adult to give that to yourself now and start to break the chain. And one very effective tool is letting go. Along with non-compliance, we also need to exercise the tool of letting go. Letting go is it's something you just do emotionally. You let go of that whole circumstance that has kept you connected to that root of codependency. In other words, the role that you had to play was just a role. And once you kind of realize that and acknowledge that it's no longer your identity is who you are as a person. So if you've ingrained that into yourself through your friendships, the position and perspective you take in the world, if you have ingrained that into your identity, realize that can be changed. It's almost like an alcoholic, someone who perceives themselves to be an alcoholic. They can't imagine themselves not drinking. So that's why, a lot of people do relapse. And I would say a similar thing has to do with looking at the root of codependency and realizing that was just a phase in your life. And it doesn't have to be part of your life forever. It doesn't mean, it has to be a continual cycle of codependence and enabling and getting taken advantage of. A lot of people are very used to that in their personality and their body chemistry and kind of what they look for in a partner. And once you begin to separate from that and realize that you do not depend on a partner to take you out, or to be treated or mishandled, that you no longer desire that anymore, that is not your connection to this other person, you'll slowly begin to recede from that sort of mindset, and you'll come into a more whole and harmonious mindset with yourself, and then how you can then relate to others. You feel more as one person rather than a person who's had a big bite taken out of them. Like the Apple logo, the codependent is like a person with a big bite taken out of them. It's like constantly they're always permitting someone else to take a bite out of them, in their flesh and in their mind and in their spirit. That's not how it has to be. Look at the setting up of the original foundation of codependence in yourself. See if that rings a bell for you, and see if that can help you kind of resolve that need and start quenching yourself as a whole person and a beautiful person who's worthy of better, and not just having to take care of others, but allow yourself to receive and be taken care of. Love you. Peace and harmony coming at you. Please subscribe. Please share for more great tools, support, and discussion. Love you.